Okay, class. Basically, we are in the way to Buddhahood, great vehicle. Class, we already finished the 6 parami. Now we are in the Bodhisattva, the stages. Now we are in the stage, the stage. We call it as a stage in the Bodhisattva. That is the ground. Let's take a look. So according, in the previous lesson, we stopped here in the verse 195. The 6 is the ground of the manifestation. Okay, is in the number 6 already. The Bodhisattva with superior wisdom and in the concentration of complete extinctions. Okay, we see with clarity all Buddha Dharma and the true nature of dependent originations. Such constant stillness and compassionate mindfulness surpasses of the 2 vehicles. So meaning to say that in the ground number 6, we call it as the manifestation, and we notice that there's the concentration of complete extinction have done, and they also experience the true nature of the dependent origination. Basically, all the bodhisattva path, their virtue, which is described, all are available actually. In the rest of the Sravaka. Okay. So next, let's take a look. So previously, lesson we stopped here. Then we mentioned that in so doing, they intimately realize the nature of thing, and all the Buddha Dharma manifests clearly. Thus, this ground is called the ground of a manifestation. Okay, but we are not done yet. Okay, class. Remember, in previous lesson we mentioned stage number 7 and 8. The wisdom is equivalent to Arahant. So remember, and basically, all the Bodhisattva, which is known by us, Samantapatra, Manjushri, Guan Yin, basically we all label them, they are the stage, they are the ground, they are in the stage of the ground. So let's try to further finish it. So after finish this part, we'll go to the virtue of the Buddha, and then there's some that besides the virtue of the Buddha, Buddha body is manifested in 3 ways. Then finish the whole thing. So Elena, please read the passage below, please.
In this very profound wisdom of emptiness, the existence and emptiness, although it is possible for Bodhisattva of the 5th ground to achieve simultaneous contemplation of the ultimate and the conventional, this is extremely rare. When they reach the 6th ground, needing only to practice more formless thinking, they can directly realize the middle way of dependent origination, which is without any obstruction between emptiness and existence. Thus, bodhisattvas of the 6th ground are always in stillness and yet are always compassionately mindful of sentient beings. Perpetual stillness is the direct realization of prajna. This is the non-duality of great compassion and prajna, the distinctive and extraordinary Mahayana Dhamma. Thinks that the 12 links of dependent origin necessarily based on the 3 periods, but rather can be established even in a single thought. In explaining the 6th ground, the chapter on the 10 grounds of the Avatamsaka Sutra extensively explains dependent origination and also mentions this teaching of dependent origination in a single thought. For example, it says, the falseness and unreality of the 3 worlds arise from the mind. The 12 links of dependent origination are based on the mind. This explanation is basically similar to that of the Sarasvati school. This school's interpretation of the Dhamma had an extraordinary influence on the Greek vehicle's mere mind philosophy in terms of both the adaptation to the capacity and style of this philosophy and its explanation. The Buddha Dhamma is really inconceivable.
Okay, thank you so much, Elena. Hey, class, sorry, just now my computer hang already. So temporarily I disappeared. Okay, class, take a look. Basically, here keep on some mention regarding the virtue of the sixth ground. Number one is say, it will perceive clearly and profoundly the true nature of the dependent origination. Class, one thing I wish you to remind you that dependent origination for Mahayana and also from the school of thought, they have a different interpretation. Basically, for school of thought, for example, if you learn dependent origination from the Theravada, they rise and fall for the dependent origination. But for Mahayana, especially for Madhyamaka from the Nagarjuna, they said dependent origination itself, it could be Nibbana. No rise and fall. So that's the difference between the Mahayana and Theravada. I mean the radical difference. So remember, for them is a little bit, for the Mahayana, for the Madhyamaka, there is a little bit extraordinary that dependent origination itself could be the Nibbana, non-rise and fall. Okay. Then next, this is number one. And secondly, here it mentioned that non-duality. Okay, a non-duality illusional existence and emptiness. Okay, class, have you ever encountered the Chinese 无二？听过冇？冇二啊，无二，不二法门，不二，听过冇？ Have you heard about that? Okay, so no need to copy lah. If you heard about that, I'll let you copy because it's so simple. Okay, actually it's quite famous. I don't know why you never heard about that lah. Let's take a look. You see, this is the non-duality in Mandarin. See, so simple, right? Okay, it worth for being copied. Please copy down. So simple, the character you ever encounter, this is a non-duality, it's very famous, especially in Mahayana, class in Mahayana is very famous. Especially in Vimalakirti Sutra, Vimalakirti is a layman, and he is very good in non-duality. You see, that is the meaning of the non-duality. You see, illusory existence and emptiness. No, actually, it also means non-dual. Dual means the existence and the emptiness. So for this school, the experience is quite extraordinary that Nibbana and the defilement both are the same. For them, I think Mr. Leung heard about that. Sometimes in Mahayana, they will come to the very special conclusion that they say defilement itself is the body. The body itself is the defilement, right? So that is a quite high level of vipassana because you see, and basically during we do the repentance, sometimes we will say that karma in nature itself is empty. Okay, but this is for those who achieve vipassana. For you and I, theoretically we know, but we are still not daring to commit the karma because there's still the effect will come, even though it is empty. It is empty in its nature. So this is something you came across. Okay, then one thing is here, needing only to practice more formless thinking. You see, formless meaning to say arupa. Okay, but here one thing is very special. You see, the Bodhisattva always in stillness and yet always compassionate mindfulness. Because this is the point. Sometimes once you are able to attain to the stillness, basically you will just keep on until to the Nibbana. Or basically, no people like defilement work, right? But here, Bodhisattva, there's exception. This is extraordinary, different from the Arahant. Is they have a strong understanding to the wisdom, but and yet the compassion is still very strong to the living being. They must be having this both feature and also body mind, so that they will just endure the incalculable kappa in order, to become the Buddhahood. For those who feel that, the five aggregate is like a burning house, they won't stay long, right? Or immediately you want to look for the Nibbana, and then you go in there, and no more, what for if the house is burning? You want to stay here? See or not? So this is how is the perception for the Arahant, for the Stravaka, because it's burning already. So they got to run away. Okay, but some living being, the compassion is very strong. They know the house is burning, but my parents are still here. They haven't left the house yet. Okay, even though I can go anytime, but I have to bring them. So this we call it as a great compassion, which is not common in Sravaka, but in Bodhisattva, yes. Okay. So anyone notice that anyone wish to run from the burning house immediately here? Anyone already have this type of thinking? So the house got people, I let other people help lah. Anyone? No. So all are bodhisattva lah. So this is a very basic way to check whether you have a tendency for bodhisattva or the Stravaka. Okay, get it? So this is the basic tendency, basic way to check. Okay, then one more. You see, the Hinayana Savastiwada. Okay, Hinayana. Okay, in Mandarin, 有冇聽過小乘大乘啊？ Heard about? Okay, Hinayana. So please copy down Hinayana 小乘啦。Even though preferably we don't use the word, but we have to know it because during the chanting sometimes 大乘小乘you heard about that. So Hinayana means the 小乘Hinayana. If a Mahayana is a 大乘here Mahayana so you can just write 大 Mahayana stroke Hinayana is a 小乘 大乘 so 知恩称诚诚称知恩let me make it small a little bit okay 知恩称诚诚称 number 4小乘大乘西凹小乘 then 大乘 okay
Sifu, you really like to torture us with Chinese character.
How what Elena what
You really like to torture us with Chinese characters.
Oh no torture because in this in Mahayana a lot of things I keep on mentioning you know already. So something new for you is the character you came across oftenly. So that's why I say, have you heard about that? No? If you heard about that, I should let you know because you keep on chanting. Then it can help you recognize. I think I can make a link for you to recognize your chanting and the Dharma here. Not torture lah. It's education, not torture. Okay, yeah. Okay, let's continue. Then we see this. Okay, here I mentioned regards the dependent origination, let's take a look. 4 types of dependent origination. There got 2 types, it's very famous. One is the dependent origination in the single thought. One is the dependent origination linked to 3 period, 3 life. Class, shall I know, for this diagram, for the diagram we use to copy, is this dependent origination in single thought or dependent origination across 3 period? Mr. Leong, is 3 period or the single thought?
3 period.
Yeah, that's true. 3 period. Basically, the single thought Tibetan origination actually is recommended by Thai monk or Buddha Dasa. Okay, Buddha Dasa. So he's the one mentioned that. I think Mr. Leong know him lah, Buddha Dasa, because his favorite Buddha Dasa. Yeah. But he passed away lah. He's quite famous. He wrote a lot of articles. So he's the one who recommend that it should be in a single moment, the Tibetan origination. Whereas Tibetan origination across the 3 period is recommended by Buddha Gosa. So Buddha Gosa is the compiler of the Visuddhimagga. So that's why I think for most of the Thailand, for Thai Buddhism, they disagree with the Buddha Gosa. So Buddha Gosa is the important icon in Myanmar Buddhism. That's why Thailand Buddhism and the Myanmar Buddhism, they disagree in many aspects. Okay, so remember, I think Mr. Leong had been experienced that sometimes you look from the Thai monk and also the Burmese monk, oh, they are quite different. I don't know who to follow. So I play roles to balance them. Let you know, then you know what to choose. I think Mr. Leong, sometimes the originality is not as important as the effective. Because in Theravada, all say their origin. That's true, all is origin. But the way the method for meditation is quite different. And the definition for the jhana attainment, also the nibbana attainment, also can be very different. If that's the case, I think the effective is more important. Right, Mr. Leong? It's origin, but if it doesn't take effects to you, what for? Right? Okay, next, let's take a look. According here, he say a single thought for the Tibetan origination is actually can trace back to where? Our Tamsaka Sutra. So our Tamsaka Sutra is Hua Yan Jing. Heard about that? Yes. So copy down the Mandarin word. You can learn a little bit. I show you the abbreviated Chinese character, make it easy. Hua Yan Jing. So this one, our Tamsaka. So abbreviated Hua, okay, Yan, okay, abbreviated Hua Yan Jing, Jing, okay, our Tamsaka. So this Hua actually sometimes you can use it for flower Hua Yan Jing, Hua Yan Jing. Okay. So this Jing you will use it very frequent. All the sutra we call it as a Jing including 你可唔可以正經啲so that is the meaning 嘅正你正經啲好冇okay. So you should be serious 正經 also this 正啦So 言言sometimes we use strict you are very strict in discipline 好嚴你嘅先生好嚴 so it's a 言So the Hua you can use as a flower and sometimes they call 中花is this Hua Okay. I think I want to charge some extra tuition fee for Mandarin class. other than the offering from the Dharma, the charging for Mandarin. Okay, okay, let's take a look. So this is what we call Hua Yan Jing. Then let's come in here. It's also about a single thought. So not much thing. So now we come to the 196. Okay, 1 paragraph, 2 big paragraph, 3 paragraph. Okay. So Sally, your turn to read, please. 3 big paragraph, please.
(196) At the ground that goes far in the concentration of complete extinction, each thought can be alternate between being in and out of concentration. The transcendence of skillful means is like a strong fire that ends the second countless kalpa. The seventh ground, that which goes far, is even more profound and wonderful. While in the concentration of complete extinction, these bodhisattvas can move into or out of concentration with each thought. The ordinary movement into and out of concentration requires a skillful means, even at levels that are beyond thinking. But now these bodhisattvas can accomplish this with each thought. Not only are they able to move in and out wherever they want, their moving into concentration is identical with moving out of concentration. This is described in the Vimala Kiri Desa Sutra. Without arising from the concentration of extinction, they can manifest various dignified demeanors. Because this concentration is profound and wonderful, the prajna based on this concentration also reaches the state of activity that requires effort but is without form. As was mentioned earlier, ever since the first ground, the wisdom that realizes emptiness is formless. When one moves out of deep contemplation, however, there is a subsequent attained wisdom that still has form. One should not confuse having form with being attached. In the fifth ground, bodhisattvas can rarely attain formless activities without any obstruction between emptiness and existence. The sixth ground is more advanced in that these bodhisattvas need only to practice this formless thinking in order to manifest formless activity. Nevertheless, most of the time this activity is interrupted. Only when they attain the seventh ground can these bodhisattvas uninterruptedly manifest formless activity. With regard to the 10 paramitas, the sixth prajna paramita emphasizes the knowledge of reality. In addition, there are 4 paramitas that are functions of prajna: skillfulness, aspiration, power, and transcendent wisdom. Only when 6 paramitas are taught, these 4 paramitas are included within prajna. With regard to the 10 transcendence, the transcendence of skillful means is the seventh ground, is superior to the preceding ones, like a fire that is even more scorching. With regard to the duration of practice, at the end of the seventh ground, the second countless kappa is finished. The differences between the 3 great countless kappas also have special significance. The first countless kappa spans the time between one's initial resolution and one's direct realization of emptiness. After that, one becomes a sage and enters the second countless kappa. Upon completion of the seventh ground, on the verge of reaching the completely pure formless activities, the second countless kalpa is finished. One enters the third. Therefore, the sutra says that the seventh ground is like the borderline between 2 countries. Prior to this ground, there are activities that have formed, those that are combination of form and formlessness, and those that require effort but are formlessness. After they attain this ground, bodhisattva's activities are purely formless and effortless, and therefore this ground is called the ground that goes far.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's try to
Yeah.
finish. Okay, class. Okay. Mrs. Leong, finish. Talk up, please, Mrs. Leong. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's take a look. You see, class. Now we talk about the seventh ground, number 7. Okay, a few different things. Class, take a look. Number 1, you see, you can move into concentration with each thought. Class, basically for you and I, in order to attain the concentration, number 1, we can't attain whatever we want, number 1. And second, there is the difference between sitting meditation and the daily life. And the third, our mind is not, every single thought is in the samadhi, basically. But for this 7th ground, okay, it possesses all. So it's very extraordinary. Even those for Shravaka, as we know from the Abhidhamma, basically, once you are sitting meditation, you are able to attain first jhana and above once you are sitting. If you are not sitting, you are standing, you are walking, the best is still the access concentration only. Why? The reason is class, because once you attain to the first jhana, your mind will be fully absorbed to the nimitta. You will be unstable if standing. If you are still walking, meaning to say that you still trigger the mind to do the action, it's impossible. You are in the first jhana. No way. Okay. So basically, we believe that first jhana and above, the best is still sitting. Okay. Lie down is possible, but you have tendency to sleep forever. Then you're confused whether you're in the jhana or sleeping already. So the best position is still the sitting position. Okay. But for bodhisattva, they possess all. So meaning to say the daily life, they're always in the jhana, always in the concentration. This is very spatial. Okay. Now you see the 7th ground. Okay. Here you see class. Vimala Kriti Nidesa Sutra. This is the Vimala Kriti. This is the one who emphasized the non-duality class. Please write down the what the Bu here I check delivery first. Yes, delivery. For what? What you want to deliver? Temple, no. Here is not for I have in the class. This is one other temple. This is a Chinese temple. The one is Chinese. I think the class now. Maybe I look for other people. Okay. Okay, let me continue. Okay. Okay, next, let's take a look. So this is the 7th ground. Okay, not yet. Now you see, because this concentration is profound and wonderful, the prajna is based on the concentration. Also, you see, also reaches the state of activity that require effort but is without the form. Class is something a little bit of imagination. You see, without the form, here the meaning to say that you do the activity, but you don't have the form, you see. So meaning to say that, how should I put it? Do the activity without the form, meaning to say that you don't see they got the form to do it, but actually it is done. Something like that. In Mandarin, actually, we call it as a 无功用行. So he translate as a perform activity without the form, but I think it's good also the translation. Does this make sense to you, Mr. Liang? Perform activity without form. It doesn't make sense. In English, it doesn't make sense. Okay. Actually, just now, the one old lady and the daughter come, they say, oh, the mother's sick, I want to come to the temple, but without any appointment, and so suddenly, so I said, ask him to go to other temple. So sometime, because I'm talking to you all, you see, so that's why, okay, I think many temple opening, they are able to find other, just suddenly, so sudden, everything I'm not ready yet. Okay, I'm sorry, I just not. Like, let's continue, you see, there's a seventh ground, you see, I say, more formless thinking in order to manifest formless activity, So, and in this case, it could be uninterrupted, it could be uninterrupted. Then let's take a look, you see. Basically, for the 10 paramid, okay, the number 6 is prajna paramid, emphasize on the knowledge of the reality. Class knowledge of the reality, meaning to say, is regards the nibbana. And then here you see, there are 4 paramid that are a function of the prajna. So you see, these are the function. Plus, let's take a look. They are the function of the prajna. And then here's some more different. Let's take a look. You see, here about the time. Okay, class. You see, so far we said that in order to become a Buddhahood, so we did 3 eon kappa, right? 0, number 1, second eon, and the third. So in the third, it become the Buddhahood already. Okay, so here it make it clearer. I mean, how the 3 kappa eon. You see, you see at the end of the 7th ground is the second countless kappa. Okay, okay, we make it clear a little bit. You see, number 1, the first countless kappa is initial resolution, and then you realize your emptiness. After that, you become the sage and enter the second countless kappa. So class, meaning to say that in the very beginning, you make a resolution, I want to become a Buddhahood. Then you come to the kappa number 1. Okay, so you go to the kappa number 1, and the kappa number 1 to kappa number 2. After kappa number 1, you will become a sage because you start to become the first ground already. Okay, go to the ground number 7. So that's the second kappa. So ground number 7 until the Buddhahood is the third. It's the third kappa. So totally 1, 2, 3. Class, is this clear? Quite clear, very simple. Initial resolution, meaning to say, like Sally, you start to make a vow, I want to become the Buddhahood. Okay, so from this moment start. So until you become a sage, you need 1 kappa. Very long time. We mentioned that we talk about the time already. It's already 1 kappa. Okay, then second, let's take a look. 1 kappa. Okay, the first kappa, countless kappa. Okay, initial, or we mentioned already. Then on the verge of reaching the completely purely formless activity, never mind, we just don't bother it. Okay, he said, become the borderline between the 2 countries, because this 7th stage is between 2 kappa, meaning to say that it's the I mean second and the third from this, and it says the combination between the form and the formless. Basically, how should I put it? 有形无形有形无形 never mind, it's okay. It doesn't matter. Okay, so here we roughly know the point here already. So class, basically you are considered quite deeply understand the Bodhisattva. Compare maybe some Theravada devotee or monk, some they deny the Bodhisattva, but without deep understanding. Once we go deep understanding, we notice that it is not that easy. Am I right? You see, wow, the time, and we know that, wow, it's quite superior, the things, but at least we know deeply. But if let's say you cannot recommend the way, 6 paramita to become the Buddhahood, and yet you deny it. So what does it mean? You know what I mean? Because of a Sravaka, once they go to the Nibbana, so ending already. Bodhisattva is the one who are willing to suffer reincarnation so that they can spread the Dharma. That's something we can see here. And yet we clearly know that there's a difference between the Buddha and the Arahant. So if you deny the 6 paramit, so what are the method for Buddhahood? Right or not? So meaning to say, I think if you just based on Nikaya, I think a lot of things is missing in Nikaya by purely Nikaya itself. Okay, so maybe a lot of things are missed out already. So in here, okay, we get the full picture. but the full picture is not easy. Right? No, after reading, wow, so difficult, you see. Oh, okay. Okay, next, let's take a look. We go to the number 197. Oh, okay. So, Mr. Leong, you try to read, please. Entering the motionless ground, Mr. Leong.
Entering the motionless ground without form and without effort, the Bodhisattva cuts off all confusion of the three realms. Such a Bodhisattva's great vows are extremely pure. Through illusory samadhi, the Bodhisattva appears in different forms throughout the three realms. From the seventh ground, one enters the eighth, the motionless ground. Whereas the formless activity of the seventh ground still involves effort. The eighth is without form and without effort. At this point, wisdom and virtue increase spontaneously, and the afflictions no longer have manifested activities. Bodhisattvas of this ground are not moved by afflictions or efforts. Hence, this ground is called motionless. It is like using such strenuous effort to cross a river in a dream. When one suddenly wakes up, all the effort stops. The afflictions of the three realms have not yet been totally eliminated, but they will no longer give rise to any danger. This is because bodhisattvas are not anxious to eliminate all the afflictions as long as they are in control of them. Sometimes bodhisattvas can use them as a skillful means to benefit themselves and others. Upon entering the eighth ground, however, bodhisattvas spontaneously and completely break through the barrier of afflictions. Of all bodhisattvas, only those who enter the eighth ground realize the birthlessness that cuts off all the confusions of the three realms, just as arhants do. The formless activities of the bodhisattvas in the eighth ground, the realization of the undifferentiated natures of things, and the attainment of the realization of birthlessness are indeed identical to the arhant's realization of nirvana. Their complete eliminations of the afflictions of the three realms is also the same as that of arhants.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, class, let's take a look. Mrs. Leong, finish thumb up, please. Okay, thank you. Now you see, Mr. Leong. Okay, I think Mr. Leong more cautious to this topic. You see, just as Arahant do, cut off the confusion, complete elimination of affliction as Arahant. Okay, so this is the 8th ground. So Mr. Leong, just bear in mind, because some people will ask how to do the comparison. So we know 8th ground Bodhisattva, the wisdom is equivalent with the Arahant. Okay, so we know that there's a comparison between here. So we need to say, you see a class after 8th ground, we will number 9, number 10, then Teng Jue, Miao Jue, 4, then become Buddhahood. So you see, you need to say that. You need to say that there's a 4 steps for the gap of the wisdom between the Arahant and the Buddha is only four gap only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 only, 4 stage only. I mean, in this, if you comparison in respect for this context, so it's number 1. Then a second thing we have to realize, you see, here he say, they are not anxious, you see, eliminate all the affliction. Why they are not anxious to eliminate all the affliction? Elena, you think why? They are not so anxious to eliminate all. Why?
Because what they do is form and formlessness. Without form, so what affliction is there if they are without form and they're formless?
Okay, so you see in the respect from the form and formless. Okay, have you heard about that? Bodhisattva, they have to remain some affliction so that they will keep on reincarnating and helping the sentient being, right? So you see, once they reach to this level, affliction, they still need it. Because totally eradicated of affliction and ignorance, you cannot reincarnate anymore, then you cannot deal, you cannot see us, you see. So you have to, you still have to keep some, purposely keep some, okay, and then you can come back and mix with us, see. And here, I don't know whether you heard about that or not. This is from the Sutra of the Great Compassionate Mantra. It mentioned that actually the Guan Yin previously is a Buddha, but he downgraded himself to become a Bodhisattva. Class, I can say that this is a very, very rare case in Buddhism. Among all the Sutra and Abhidhamma, this is the only one you will discover from Buddhahood downgrade to the Bodhisattva. But the normal, this is the more normal. You need to say that they know once they become the Buddha, then they cannot come back anymore. So the best way is you must help the people until you feel enough, then you attain to the Buddhahood. Okay, get it? So that's why you see here, if you go to talk to the Theravada devotee, if they have got problem, they won't begging Shakyamuni one. Because it's already go to the Nibbana, then you wouldn't come back anymore. You get it? Am I right? You wouldn't come back anymore. But for us, it's a little bit different because we believe a Buddha got 3 forms of the body. So if you call the Buddha, he may respond to you. So it's quite different. So in Theravada, I think maybe they will call for Mr. Leong, who do they call for help? Deva or who? For Theravada, if the mother of the devotees are in the emergency, who they call for help?
Deva.
Deva, you see? Deva is the only option. For us, the Bodhisattva and the Buddha, and we got so many Buddha. So that's why we go to bow millions Buddha. Whatever name you just simply could, sure you can got one. Because they got 1 million Buddha in the books, you see. But not all are so common and popular. We usually we call for help from the more popular one. Okay, so that's why a Bodhisattva, basically, who goes around to helping the living being, I think still is the Bodhisattva. They are more convenient, you see. Okay, then next I see number 8 is the motionless ground, you see I said. So this is an upgrade from the 7th ground, you see. You see, it's the without form. The 8 is the without form and without the effort already. So meaning to say they can just do whatever. So if you say Guan Yin, is Guan Yin necessary to move around? Not necessary, because you see, they are number one. They can just do whatever. I mean that when they think it is done already. So they no need to go. So that's the meaning here. So number 8 ground starting they're so powerful already. Of course, if you ask, if that's the case, how come we are begging sometime, right? We don't have enough money, we beg. No, it doesn't appear. Or is there a lot of people in the war? I think they also call for, no, they don't appear. How come? Okay, Sally, how do you explain this? Sally, how do you explain this?
Sorry, Sifu, can you explain again? Because actually I'm not at home. I'm in the temple.
Have you ever experienced that you're calling Guan Yin, but she doesn't bother you?
So far, no lah.
You so never asked before
No.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So Mr. Leong, if you call for Guan Yin, she doesn't reply to you, she doesn't respond to your calling, so how do you see it, Mr. Leong?
It means my faith is still not strong enough.
Your faith not too strong. Okay, possible. So you see, this is something quite hard for us to explain. Mr. Leong, I think it's one of the answer. Second, actually, sometimes we are also in the ignorance, so we cannot see them. Even though they appeared in front of us, but due to the ignorance, we are not able to see them. But of course, if you try to ask the Theravada who claim they attain to the jhana, they are not able to see also, because they don't believe what. See or not? In order to see something, the perception will influence you. So this is irresolvable issue. And some people, they will see the Guan Yin, some because they're due to over-eager. When you're over-eager, you can have the hallucination, the possible. And some also maybe because some they are fasting. Fasting can cause, the scarcity of the glucose in the blood. You will have a hallucination also. So that's why, there are so many phenomena, but some is a real one. They see the real one. Like Xuan Zhuang, according to his bibliography, Xuan Zhuang, the Buddha manifests in front of him in one part of India, according to his bibliography. At that time, I think he doesn't fast. He didn't fast, meaning to say he is healthy, blood sugar, everything is fine, he's not dehydrated. Because all this can create hallucination, you see. And yet you are very, you are over-enthusiastic in religions. You can cause a lot of things appear. So that's why it's quite hard for us to scrutinize. I think we're supposed to be more strict to this. If people claim that they see all this, we have to overrule all this possibility. The not right one first, before we recognize that, maybe you see it's the real one. I think we should be more strict a little bit. We don't want to encourage the superstitious. Okay. So that is something Okay, then next, let's take a look is regarding the affliction, you see. They are not engines, they will use the affliction, you see. And here, I see, break through the barrier of affliction, and then Arahant, just now we mentioned already. Okay, thus the Dasa Bhumika Sutra. We go further. Yeah, Elena, your turn to read, please.
Thus, the Dasa Bhumika Sutra says that bodhisattvas are to enter nirvana upon entering the 8th ground. Because of the power of the Buddha's support and the power of bodhisattvas' original vows, naturally they will not enter nirvana in the same way as the Hinayananis. From this point on, they enter the way of bodhisattva, which is truly distinct from the two vehicles. From now on, the profound state of the Mahayana, that is formless activity, which is extremely difficult for bodhisattvas of the 5th ground to enter, is fully attained. With regard to the 10 transcendences, the great vows of bodhisattva of the 8th ground are the most pure. As for their formless and effortless activities, that can give rise to illusory samadhi, universally appearing in all forms and preaching all dhammas in the three realms. This is like the great being universal gateway, Quan Shi Yin Bodhisattva, who instantly appears in whatever form corresponds to the need of the one who requires deliverance and preaches the Dhamma. Such is the profound state of all bodhisattvas in and above the eighth ground. Not only do they know that existence is illusory, but their formless activities also appear as illusions and without meaningless elaboration. And these illusions are identical with and equal to emptiness. Because their activities are purely formless, it is said that bodhisattvas of the eighth ground give rise to illusory samadhi.
Okay, thank you. Okay, class, have I ever told you that if let's say people claim you really see the Guan Yin or all this stuff is real, how do you judge that whether it is the real one or this is the camouflage from the demon? Have I ever told you then how to judge this? Have I ever told you? Mr. Leong, how do you judge? Is the real one or is the camouflage a transformation from the demon?
Ask them, are you real or are you fake?
Yeah, one thing. But of course, I think if they are fake, they will say, no, I'm real.
If I'm real, that means it is not real.
No. So, but possible that he's the real. He said, yes, I'm real. Please believe me because I'm the real one. Okay, I think the best is still go back to your precept. Class, if you have a good precept and then you have a good intention, basically come as the real one. This is how we judge because this is the more fundamental things you see. Okay, because when you have a good value with a good precept and with a good precept and intention, basically you would attract the demon to come. Demon only will come if there's an evil in your heart. So that is how we judge, especially the moment we pass away. People also argue, when I die, how do I know the Buddha is the real one or is not the real one? People also scared, you see. Oh, but you can't judge anymore because you are in the last moment already. So everything will go back to your Vinaya. Your Vinaya is good, your intention is good, you got the right view. Basically, the real one will come for you. This is how, this is the way we judge. Okay.
But this is only a perception.
No, because I mean there's a cause and this is the effect. So Mr. Leong, you have a good cause, then you have a good effect. Okay. Of course we can ask but what to answer, it really depends on him already. Okay. forms. Yes. Okay, Mrs. Leong finish. Okay, so let's take a look. You see, here we have to talk about Dasa Bhumika Sutra. Dasa mean 10 Dasa Bhumi mean 十地经 10 ground Dasa Bhumika. Dasa Bhumika Sutra is a partial of our Tamsaka Sutra. It's one part of it. So according this Dasa Bhumika, he say, you see, they say the Bodhisattva are to enter Nibbana upon entering the 8th ground, you see. Here the R2 is about, right? Elena? Are to enter Nirvana upon entering, about, okay. You see, but they won't, you see. The next sentence is that it will not enter. Why? The power of the Buddha support and the original vow. See or not? So that's why they will try, to pull themselves back. So wouldn't go to Nibbana immediately. So can help more people. It's due to their vow. Okay. Then let's take a look. You see how. Here, the one thing is, you see, in this 8th ground, the formless activity, which we are not that sure one is fully attained. Right now, the formless activity, we also don't know what is the significance of by fully attained, at least, okay, okay. So I will check you the Mandarin, never mind, just ignore it, okay. You see, here number for this, the vow is the most pure, is in the 8th ground, you see, number one. Second, this is something, I want to torture you with the Mandarin. Universal Gateway. 有没有听过普门品有冇？普门班Yes, write it. 普门品 I mean the Universal Gateway. Oh, this one a little bit difficult. This one have to torture a little bit. You see a class here, Universal Gateway. 普门普门okay. So the pu is the universal. Man is the gateway. Meaning to say, wherever you asking for, wherever you are asking, they will just display display in a various form to fulfill your need. So it's a 普门品 So 观世音 Avalokitesvara. This one the 普sometimes we say 我講普通話also we use this. So 普can be universal. It could be common also. It could be normal also. 好唔好食哎呀，普普通通So this is the word just normal with me. Okay. And it could be means universal. Okay. I think Chinese maybe a little bit difficult. I think English also same Sometimes one word's got so many different meaning. You go to check it could be adjective. Sometimes it could be a verb. Sometimes it could be nouns. You have to check one by one. I think English same, right? One words play different role. But for Mandarin, because I think English, if you compare, English still easier than Mandarin. Just correct. You heard about that? Okay. So this is a 普门 universal gateway 哈，观世音 Bodhisattva 哈，what does it mean 观世音哈？Actually the 观世音啊 is from the Sanskrit Avalokitesvara 哈，观世音哈。观世音meaning to say that 观 mean contemplate, okay 哈，the word 哈，音 mean the sound, okay 哈，来 see 观世音 no I want the Sanskrit 啦哈，Avalokitesvara 哈。Avalokitesvara. This is so important in Mahayana, and actually the Gateway Universal was translated by Kumarasuchiwa in the 4th century, quite early, class in the 4th century in Chang'an. Class you can write down Avalokitesvara, 观世音 okay you write out the Sanskrit first. So I think this Guan will scare you lah. I give you the abbreviated Chinese for the Guan you might be scared by this So 我哋講觀音in the common 觀世音Avalokitesvara Okay, 观世音okay, please write the abbreviated lah simple this one 观世音 okay So class you can write here lah you see, do you see 观世音you can write here okay 观世音So yin mean the sound lah guan is the contemplate you try to look for the sound the sound of the sound of suffering from the world 是 mean the world So that's why sometimes the 观世音 she is even more common and popular than Shakyamuni and maybe Amitabha in Buddhism. The reason is because everybody have needs they come to fulfill your needs Of course they will be more popular in some king also got Avalokitesvara okay class in Heart Sutra they say 观自在菩萨 that one is not 观音 that one also Avalokitesvara but we translate as those who practice vipassana okay so class once you do the chanting 心经观自在菩萨心生般若波罗蜜多时 that one 观自在菩萨 also is Avalokitesvara but that is we translate as for those who practice vipassana. Okay, Mr. Leong, remember in Heart Sutra, that is the one who practice the vipassana. So basically, Heart Sutra is the gist and the outcome of the vipassana. Remember that is the meaning here the 观世音is in the universal gateway so this is the one the various people calling the various of need people who call so this is the Avalokitesvara to respond us. So you see so this is the 观音they are in the 8th level you see class you see they are the 8th stage of the Bodhisattva you see instantly appeared whatever form the people need why because you see not only do they know that existence is illusory you see they know existence is illusory but the activity are also appear as illusion so actually they no need to go here and there as long as you go to call they hear you they will come to you okay I think sometimes people who are more sensitive the body they can feel that more easily number one and second one thing is I found that most of the medium they can encounter and see the 观音 than the normal Buddhists like you and I You know, the medium, they more happen, more common for them, the medium they see, the Guan Yin, they see. Okay. So this is something I think is a dilemma for us, because for most of the Buddhists, when they so-called them, because we used to so-called, we have a right view. So basically, they are quite resist to the medium, basically. But and yet, some of these sutra, they always mention the Guan Yin, but you cannot see it. But those who can easily see is the medium. You see, that is the dilemma. And you got the problem. Would you like to ask Guan Yin? If Guan Yin appear to you, do you hope so? I think you hope so, right? So there's a contradict among the Buddhists sometimes. Okay, next, let's take a look. So verse number 198. Whose turn to read? I forgot already. So I think Mr. Leong, right? Okay, 198 at the ground.
198. At the ground of good wisdom, with unhindered understanding, the Bodhisattva completes and purifies all powers. The formless and effortless activities are even greater at the ninth ground, that of good wisdom. This Bodhisattva's realization, needless to say, are effortless. Even preaching the Dharma to others is effortless. Bodhisattvas of the ninth ground can attain the fourfold wisdom that comes from unobstructed understanding of the Dharma and its meanings. Protecting the Buddha's Dharma treasury, they are the highest and most eloquent masters among all who preach the Dharma. They are able to preach all Dharmas with a single voice, simultaneously expounding every corresponding doctrine for infinite beings with different fundamental natures. They do this spontaneously without exerting effort. Of the 10 paramitas, the bodhisattvas of the ninth ground completely perfect and purify the paramita of all powers.
Thank you so much. Okay, so class, we're in the ninth ground of the Bodhisattva. Let's take a look. This is the ninth ground. Okay, so you see, in the ninth ground, formless and effortless activity even greater. As it's greater. Then see how you say even preaching the Dharma to other effortless, or again, it's still preaching the Dharma, and even more effortless. As compared, it's getting easier and easier. Here you see class, he can just preach the Dharma with a single voice only. But the infinite being with a different fundamental nature, it could be achieved in this way, you see. Okay, and then for the 10 paramid class, is completely purified. Everything is okay. Everything are done already. Okay, I think we stop our class here. Hey, I saw some. You have to keep your clock. It's about to ring already.